I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. You do not have to prove yourself to be loved and accepted. I'm going to say that one more time. You do not have to prove yourself to be loved and accepted. Now, I am largely talking to myself because I constantly need that reminder. I think a lot of it I just learned in childhood. Whether consciously or subconsciously, took in that like, oh, like when I do really well, I'm told that like I'm smart, I'm special, and all these things. Because that's typically when I was being affirmed, was when I was doing something really well. Outside of that, I wasn't necessarily like affirmed. Like if I was doing something really well, then I was being affirmed. That's a whole nother story, a whole nother day. But all that to say, that has now, like growing up now as an adult, that has led me to be very much a performance-based person where I strive to, be as productive as I can and trying to essentially prove to people why I'm worth their time and energy. And I don't always recognize it right away. I'm just like, oh no, like I'm just like, I really want to help and I really want to do this and da 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 da. But a lot of it usually does stem from me feeling like I have to prove or like qualify myself, so that people will understand why they should, spend time with me or why I'm worth the investment, if you will. Like I literally just did it the other day. I was, well, I don't know how much I want to tell my business. It's okay. We're gonna be honest. We're gonna be transparent on here. So I had just met one of my favorite artists at his concert, and I have like the hugest crush on him. I just think he's the absolute most wonderful person in the world. And so I got a chance to meet him, and I just recently DM'd him a couple days ago, and I was like, hey, it was so great meeting you, da 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 da. And I was like, oh, if you ever need any help with like XYZ, let me know. Like I have all this experience in this, and that. And then I said a couple of things, and then I sent the message. And then after a few minutes, I was like, oh, I don't know, that doesn't feel right. And you guys are about to get like a picture into Jasmine's brain when she starts to overthink scenarios. So I unsent the message, and then I like tried to rewrite it. And then I unsent it again, and then I wrote it again. I literally wrote the message and unsent it like 3 or 4 times. Because the first time I was like, oh, like, I don't want to come off as like too like, oh, like, I don't want to be put in the friend zone, basically. Right. So I'm like, well, like, how do I show that I'm interested without being super direct and upfront, but also like showing that like I do want to get to know. It was a whole thing. So I, through all of that, again, after I finally crafted a message that I was like, okay, this is what I want to say. I'm fine with this. I'm good to go. And after I finally sent it, I realized, why did that take me so long? Why was I struggling to like figure out like what to say, or, and like, why was I having like, just struggling? And I realized it was because like I felt like I had to qualify myself or prove myself to this person and be like, okay, like, here's why you should want to get to know me. And like, here's what I can offer you. Like, I feel like I had to bring something to the table. And I was like, oh. And when I realized that, I was like, Jasmine, like, you don't have to bring anything to the table in order for like people to see how like cool you are. Like, it's something that I have to constantly remind myself of, is because I have friends that will introduce me to like their friends like from where they're from, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, my friends think you're so cool, da da da, whatever. And I'm just like, I mean, I appreciate that, I do, but I'm like, why? Like, they don't even really know me for real. So like, I don't really understand like how they could already have this perception of me. Like, I haven't, like, I say this sometimes in my conversation. I'll say, I haven't even done anything. Like, I didn't even do anything. And it's like, that's the point, Jasmine. Like, you don't have to do anything. Like, people will see how good of a person you are, how cool of a person you are, how kind of a person you are, just by you being you. You don't have to do anything. Um, and so yeah, if you've taken nothing from this video, just remember that you do not have to prove or qualify yourself or bring something to the table in order to be loved and accepted, because the right people will love and accept you just for you being you, for merely existing. Um, and the wrong people will try to make you, like, they're going to try to make you jump through hoops and, you know, make you do all these things to prove why, like, they should waste their time with you. Which again, don't get me wrong, like, I do hear me when I say this. Like, I'm not saying that like everybody, you know, deserves to have your time and energy. That's a whole separate conversation for a whole nother thing. But what I'm saying is that, like, you don't have to, like, be, you know, you don't have to try to do all these, jump through all these hoops in order to be loved and accepted. Because again, the right people will love and accept you for you, and the wrong people will try to make you jump through those hoops. So again, just remember, you were loved, you were cherished, and also that God loves you. Whether you believe in God or not, he loves you. Yeah, so let me know, comment down below again if you've experienced similar things, if you struggle with those things. Like I said, I'm constantly having to remind myself on a monthly, weekly, daily basis that, like, okay, Jasmine, like, you don't have to do anything for people to love and accept you. Like, you don't have to try to like overcompensate or do all these things. So yeah, let me know if you guys can relate in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.